home and contact the Ministry of Health's call center for instructions on procedures necessary for quarantine. A flight between Turkey-backed Syrian rebels and government troops goes unvectored in northwest Syria. And Israel approves nearly 1,800 new settlers' homes in the occupied West Bank.
كما أننا سنحرص على توجيه مواردنا المالية التوجيه الأمثل بما يضمن خفض المديونية وزيادة الدخل، وسنوجه الحكومة بكافة قطاعاتها لانتهاج إدارة كفءة وفاعلة تضع تحقيق التوازن المالي وتعزيز التنويع الاقتصادي واستدامة الاقتصاد الوطني.
Assalamu alaikum. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. Minister of Health urged all passengers traveling from Islamic Republic of Iran after February 9, 2020 to remain at home and contact Minister of Health's call center or the nearest health center for instructions on quarantine procedures. If symptoms like fever, coughing, short of breath, or sore throat manifest, the call center or the nearest health center must be contacted to get the necessary health care. Face masks must be worn when taking a person to the health center. Public transportations must be avoided, and preventative measures issued from Ministry of Health must be observed. Royal Oman Police would like to draw the attention of the national and GCC citizens that the use of civil cards by the nationals and GCC citizens to travel from and to the Sultanate of Oman over various borders points of entry will be suspended starting from tomorrow Saturday at 12 p.m. due to COVID-19 global outbreak. Omanis who used their civil cards to exit the country or GCC citizens who used their national identity card to enter Oman are exempted. Royal Oman Police stressed that this decision is temporary and will be reviewed on continuous basis. As the crisis of coronavirus continues to spread in other countries, the Ministry of Health affirms its readiness in dealing with COVID-19. More details in the following report. The crisis of coronavirus that has started in China is now spreading to over 35 countries. The vast majority of cases still in China, 77,800 cases in the mainland China, and more than 2,600 died. South Korea is witnessing a sharp rise in cases, almost 1,800, and there are 10 people died so far. Iran is putting its efforts to contain its outbreak there with almost 1,039 cases, and there are 19 people died. Italy, more than 320 cases and 11 people died. The combined situation in South Korea, Iran and Italy point to the early stages of a pandemic. This means a global outbreak with the coronavirus spreading in the country with multiple parts of the world. His Excellency, the Director General of WHO, said this is a time for the country's communities, families and individuals to focus on preparing. The coronavirus have overtaken 2003 SARS epidemic and the Middle Eastern respiratory MERS in both the number and cases by far, and also the number of deaths too. Oman and other Gulf countries have registered cases. In Oman, total 6 cases of coronavirus, as a new case was reported yesterday. All cases are in stable conditions and are quarantined at home and followed by medical staff. All coronavirus cases are linked to recent visit to Iran. The special team in the Ministry of Health is working round the clock, monitoring and continue to give special advices to the public to follow proper hygienic procedures and other prevention methods. As part of the infection control procedures, the Ministry of Health is directing people to isolate themselves or quarantine travellers coming from the countries that are affected with coronavirus, and they have got to be quarantined for 14 days period. Now, to have further information with us here tonight is Dr. Eskild Pettersen, professor and specialist in infectious diseases at the Ministry of Health. Dr. Pettersen, welcome to our studio. More and more daily basis needs to be learned about the coronavirus, COVID-19. What can you tell us more about it?
Well, this is a new virus that we learned about the 31st of December 2019, which caused a large outbreak in China. And then from China it spread to almost all continents, mostly in the Middle East, and I think most European countries now have cases.
Now, how is the COVID-19 different from other coronaviruses?
Well, we have common cold coronaviruses, which just gives us a common cold. Then we have had 2 outbreaks over the past 20 years with serious coronaviruses called SARS and MERS, which SARS is not, we haven't seen it since 2003. MERS is still a problem in Saudi Arabia. Mm. But this one is different because it's much more infectious, but it's also less dangerous. Mm.
What are the signs and symptoms of COVID-19 infection?
You get an influenza-like illness with cough, fever, sneezing. Maybe you get a lung infection also, which gives you shortness of breath. Mm-hmm.
And what one should do if he thinks or that individual is exposed to or infected by COVID-19?
Well, you are exposed to COVID-19, but you have no symptoms whatsoever. Mm-hmm. You should talk to your health center, and you should keep yourself in your home. Mm-hmm. And contact your health center if you, after exposure, get some of the symptoms. If you already have symptoms, then you should contact your health center.
And how is COVID-19 diagnosed?
Well, you look for the genetic material in a swab from the nose or a sputum you are coughing up. So that's a standard procedure for many viruses.
What procedures followed for suspected persons with COVID-19?
Well, what we are doing is that we are trying to keep people in isolation in their home so they cannot spread to a lot of other people. That's a key issue right now because we do not have the coronavirus circulating in Oman. Those cases we have, and we have 6 cases, are all infected in Iran. But we expect, with the number of people visiting Iran, that we will start seeing local cases within the next 7 to 10 days. That's my guess.
Right. Now, all these particular questions that we've asked one by one like this, these are the basic questions that most of the public are asking. They would like to know more about it, and you have explained about it, and even the way how one should be diagnosed. But earlier in our report and also other news bulletin, we have indicated, or the Ministry of Health have indicated, that those people who are coming from those particular countries that are affected by the coronavirus, they need to quarantine themselves. What exactly they need to do when they are at home, and what precaution they need to take so that they cannot infect others as well?
Well, we have a term called social distancing, and the idea is that you should simply have contact to as few people as possible. So when you're quarantined at home, we recommend that you have your own room. Of course, your family will take care of you and give you food and so on. But it is really a measure to limit the number of people you are in contact with. So should you be infected before you came back to Oman and you develop symptoms, then it has not been spreading in the supermarket, in your workplace, and so on. That's the idea behind it. Mm-hmm.
Now, we have indicated, or the report have indicated, that people should not also be in a big group. But what we know now, there are places that you cannot prevent, like, for example, going to school. What can you tell us about this?
Well, I think that it's very important to realize that this is something that concerns all of us. We are all in the same boat. We cannot escape, so this is a community responsibility. For the time being, there's no concerns about schools. The coronavirus seems to be a very mild infection in children, and most of the children are actually, children is not a big number when we look at the Chinese data. This is an infection that really hit adults.
Professor Dr. Peterson, we would like to thank you very much for this short interview. We believe that the message is delivered. We hope all of our listeners and the TV watchers that you will follow the procedures to protect yourself and to protect others. This is a joint responsibility and we cannot escape. People need to be prepared and to try to prevent such things, and we should not panic. His Excellency the Minister of Health was here in 2 days' time, and I would like to reassure you that the people in the Ministry of Health, they're working round the clock to follow up the issues and to follow up the matters in general. So we are in good hands, but we need to have that joint responsibility of protecting one another. Would like to thank you, Dr. Eskil Peterson, Professor and the specialist in infectious diseases at the Ministry of Health. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
The rapid spread of coronavirus raised fears of a pandemic today, with 5 countries reporting their first cases. The World Health Organization warning it could spread worldwide. WHO spokesman Christian Lindmeier told a news briefing in Geneva that the outbreak is getting bigger. Meanwhile, mainland China reported 327 new cases, the lowest since January 23rd, taking its tally to more than 78,800 cases with almost 2,800 deaths. Lindmeier cites as the outbreak cases in China, it is surging elsewhere. 5 more countries have reported their first case of COVID-19, all with travel history connected to Italy. They were Nigeria, Estonia, Denmark, Netherlands and Lithuania. Belarus and Azerbaijan reported today their first cases of the novel coronavirus, while Georgia announced its second case, saying several more people in quarantine may test positive. Countries other than China now account for about 3/4 of new infections. Mongolia, which has yet to confirm a case, placed its president Batagulga Kathma in quarantine as a precaution after he returned from a trip to China. The WHO said Germany has nearly 60 cases, France about 38, and Spain 23. Iran, Italy and South Korea were at a decisive point in efforts to prevent a wider outbreak. As of today, confirmed cases in Japan had risen above 200, with 4 deaths, excluding more than 700 cases and 5 more deaths from a quarantined cruise liner, Diamond Princess. Chinese ruled Hong Kong, where the coronavirus has killed 2 people and infected more than 90. Quarantined a pet dog of coronavirus patients after its nasal and oral samples tested weak positive. Though the authorities had no evidence the virus can be transmitted to pets. The fight between Turkey-backed Syrian rebels and government troops went unabated in northwestern Syria today, as Moscow and Ankara traded blame over the deadliest strike suffered by the Turkish army in nearly 30 years. The killing of 33 Turkish soldiers yesterday and the wounding of 32 others, announced by the governor in Turkey's Hatay province bordering Syria, raised the Turkish military death toll in the region to 54 this month. Government forces backed by Russian air power have launched an assault to capture the northwest, the last remaining territory held by rebels who are backed by Turkey. With diplomacy sponsored by Ankara and Moscow in tatters, NATO members Turkey has come closer than ever in the conflict to direct confrontation with Russia on the battlefield. Turkey has sent thousands of troops and heavy military hardware into Idlib in recent weeks, and President Tayyip Erdogan has warned that Turkey would repel the Syrian forces unless they pulled back from Turkish observation posts in the region. Hundreds of migrants in Turkey started arriving on the borders with Greece and Bulgaria today after a senior Turkish official said Ankara would no longer abide by a 2016 European Union deal and stop refugees from reaching Europe. Greece and Bulgaria, both European Union member states, said they were beefing up frontier controls to prevent the migrants crossing illegally. Bulgaria said it was sending 1,000 extra troops to its border with Turkey. On the Aegean coast, Turkish broadcasters showed 2,000 people, including women and children, aboard a rubber dinghy boat. They were reported bound for the Greek island of Lesbos. Syrians, Iranians, Iraqis, Pakistanis and Moroccans were among the migrants heading towards the border crossings with Greece and Bulgaria, about 200 kilometers west of Istanbul. Turkey already hosts some 3.7 million Syrian refugees and says it cannot handle any more. The European Union said it had received no official word from Ankara that it had suspended the 2016 deal whereby Brussels sends billions of euros in aid in return for Turkey stemming the migrants' flow to Europe. Israel approved nearly 1,800 new settlers' homes in the occupied West Bank. The country's right-wing defense minister announced 4 days ahead of a general election. The minister said a planning committee approved the construction of 1,800 housing units, according to the proposal of the Minister of Defense, Naftali Bennett. Anti-settlement NGO Peace now said a total of 1,739 homes were earmarked, 92% of which were deep inside the West Bank. It said 1,036 were approved through a first major stage, while 703 went through a final major hurdle. Peace now said separately a new industrial park was approved for construction near Qalqilia in the West Bank. The international community has warned repeatedly that Jewish settlements construction in the E1 corridor, which passes from Jerusalem to Jericho, would slice the West Bank in two and compromise the contiguity of the future Palestinian state. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin, activities of the Youth Creations Program conclude in the Governorate of South Al-Sharqiyya.
أيها المواطنون الأعزاء، إن الشباب هم ثروة الأمم وموردها الذي لا ينضب، وسواعدها التي تبني هم حاضر الأمة ومستقبلها، وسوف نحرص على الاستماع لهم وتلمس احتياجاتهم واهتماماتهم وتطلعاتهم، ولا شك أنها ستجد العناية التي تستحق.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Oman's Association for Handicapped Children Welfare organized its fundraising event under the title The Third Rainbow Color Carnival. The carnival aimed at raising funds for the association activities engaging children with disability with their counterparts and introducing the association services to the local community. The carnival included a variety of children activities and competitions, blood donation campaign and a workshop pediatric first aid and exhibition on homemade products. The closing ceremony for Fine Arts Talent Initiative from My Talent I Earn was held in Salalah under the patronage of Her Excellency Dr. Suad bint Mohammed bin Ali Al-Lawatiya, Minister of Arts Affairs. Under the Fine Arts Talent Initiative, workshops on fine arts were organized to improve and nurture students' artistic skills. The closing ceremony included a gallery that highlighted students' creative works. The gallery provided an opportunity for the community to appreciate the students' fine arts works. Her Excellency Dr. Suad bint Mohammed bin Ali Al Watia, Minister of Arts Affairs, expressed her appreciation and delight over the initiative and said that it is a wonderful idea because it achieves many goals and nurtures their talents and entrepreneurship from early ages. Activities of the second stage of the Youth Creation Program concluded in the Governorate of South Sharqiya. It aimed to develop the skills and capabilities of the youth in addition to attract the talented and creative in various activities. The program witnessed participation from more than 1,200 talented youth. It included various fields, namely sciences, arts, culture, among others. The Indian Embassy in Muscat celebrated last night the 71st Republic Day anniversary. More detail in the following report. Indian Embassy organized a grand reception to celebrate the 71st Republic Day of India. The special event was graced by the attendance of His Excellency Sayyid Hamad bin Hamud Al Busaidi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the chief guest, in the presence of the Omani government officials, ambassadors, diplomats, and prominent members of Omani and Indian community. The official event started with the national anthems of Oman and India. After that, Ambassador of India to the Sultanate of Oman, Shri Munu Mahawar, gave a brief speech and paid tribute to late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Saeed Al Saeed. Ambassador also extended warm greetings to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and conveyed best wishes for leading Oman to continue on the path of peace, progress, and prosperity. He spoke about shared values that are at the core of India-Oman relationship and stated India can be a reliable partner in Oman's journey towards becoming developed, prosperous, and technological advanced nation. Ambassador also spoke about the importance of Republic Day, especially the Constitution of India, and highlighted India's achievements guided by the principle of Sabka Sath Sabka Vikas Sabka Vishwas, together with trust and confidence. After Ambassador's speech, a ceremonial cake was cut. It was followed by unveiling of a painting of Mahatma Gandhi, a global icon for peace and harmony, painted by renowned Omani artist Mr. Saeed Al-Ruwaidi. After that, Indian arts and dances were performed. The embassy also organized an Indo-Oman photo exhibition in association with Photography Club of Indian Social Club. The photos showed the natural beauty and culture of Oman. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat. The Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry Evening Economic Forecast 2020 sheds light on the upcoming expectations and their influence on the labor market and the Sultan's current budget. It was presided over by His Highness Sayyid Dr. Adham bin Turki Al Saeed.
The global economic recession and oil prices and their impact on the Gulf economy topped the discussions at Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry Evening under the theme Economic Forecasts 2020.
The discussion was the world recession, which is going on in the worldwide, and it is not in the Gulf or Oman, it is all over the world, China and America and everything, and the effect of the corona on the world. But coming on the local economy and the local potential, they have mentioned that, okay, Oman probably has the potential to grow and to attract the foreign investment here, and we have a very big potential in the mining sector, in the touristic center, and in the other logistics center. So we have to activate all these ones.
A number of economists, businessmen, and those interested in financial management and analysis of the economic situation attended the event, discussing the economic prospects for the coming year and the extent of their impact on the labor market.
Even before the crisis that we're seeing now with the coronavirus in China, the global economy was already slowing down. Despite the fact that we had Brexit, despite the fact that we had the trade war, even before these issues, the global economy was slowing down, not only from Europe, but also from China. China, by the way, has been slowing down for over 10 years. The economic growth in China 2019, which by the way is before the virus broke out, was the slowest economic growth in China in 30 years. So China already is already seeing economic problems in 2019. What has happened today is a crisis, and even if the issue with the virus were solved tomorrow, the problems are, we're going to feel it here in the Gulf, we're going to feel it in Oman, and we're going to feel it globally, because what has happened already is already affecting the global economy.
The evening also focused on the global economic situation, the extent to which global markets are affected by the current economic changes, and the fluctuations in oil prices and their impact on the stability of the financial situation. صالح بن خلفان الرحبي, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Thank you, Saleh. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Ministry of Health urges all passengers arriving from Iran after February 9, 2020 to remain home and contact the Ministry of Health's call center for instruction on procedures necessary for the quarantine. The fight between Turkey-backed Syrian rebels and government troops goes unabated in northwest Syria. And Israel approves nearly 1,800 new settlers' homes in the occupied West Bank. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television. From me and the entire news team, led by Mohammed Al-Mahrouqi, we thank you for joining us. Wish you a pleasant evening and good night.
محروز ولدي محروز وانت بعد ما حروز شوف البقاء الصوبين كل شي في حياتي دبل ألعاب ووسخ خبل خالد وحامد عينين نصحى الصبح للإفطار يبدأ صراخ الشطار أيوة الوسخ اثنين لما الحياة تهبلني تايد يوقف جنبي عبوة من تايد أنظف من اثنين من غيره شقاوة دبل تايد واحد